So that's really what I'm hoping this podcast can do. Is kind of give some folks the inspiration to go out and find their voice. Kind of give themselves the inspiration through looking at what inspires others to go out and create, to fill that gap within themselves, to find something, whether it's painting, music, sculpting, whatever the case may be, to find something that is you and to bring it into the world so it can be appreciated by others, so it can inspire others, so it can strengthen this idea that we're all in it together, to strengthen this idea that our creativity feeds off of each other, that we can help heal each other. I know, it's kind of it's kind of an abstract thought. Like, well, if I'm just learning a couple chords on the guitar, how is that going to heal someone? I mean, just starting out. Well, it's also situation. When I was just starting out learning to play the dulcimer, I was completely terrible at it. But when I brought that instrument to the veterans home when my grandpa was there, and he couldn't talk or anything at the time, he couldn't express himself, and just that ability not to be able to express himself, you could just see the pain and anguish in his eyes because he wanted to tell you how he felt. He wanted to express all these things as he was laying there dying, and he just couldn't. But when I brought that dulcimer and I would play it, and I could just see the faint smile come to his face, and that toes start to bounce up and down in his bed, like, I knew that that was a medium for him to express the things he couldn't do in words, for him to express his love and appreciation for maybe all the experiences that we had. And, even when I would play for other folks at the veteran home, walking up and down the hall, either, on my way to his room or on my way back to the car, you can see how even a novice at that instrument, only learning a couple of chords, can really start to heal those people from their sense of anguish or loneliness. So even something as small as that makes a difference. Even something as minuscule as learning a few chords on an instrument, but sharing it with a person at the right time can make a world of difference in how they perceive things. I mean, there was one guy there one time as I was, after I left my grandpa, it was his birthday. And he didn't have any family. He had been at the veterans home for 10 years. And, I'd sat and played a quick song for him. He started tearing up. I didn't know the guy. I've only probably, passed by him, given him a wave once or twice. But just that one moment that we shared, I mean, it probably it made his day, probably made his year. Definitely gave him a happy birthday. But little things like that, little kindnesses that we can use our art to express, it brings a level of appreciation, joy, and awe to the idea that, in that moment, he was special. In that moment, my intention, even though I didn't know him, was on him. And in that moment, he was inspired, maybe not to do his own artwork, but definitely inspired to help maybe someone else heal or do something kind for someone else. And that's the point, to inspire kindness. The point is to inspire appreciation. The point is to inspire others to want to find the voice that allows them to be the wholest person that they feel they can be.